What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you check out the channel. With that being said, man, I want to speak on Mike Tomlin, the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I want, do you think, I want to know your opinion. Do you think Mike Tomlin should be on the hot seat with the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And in my opinion, things haven't been going well for Mike Tomlin. They started out the year looking pretty strong. He had the quarterback Justin Fields in there, and Justin Fields did he was serviceable, he was manageable. Then he had then he went to Russell Wilson, and Russell Wilson came in and made him look like a genius for putting him in there and going away from Justin Fields. But the last four games, it just seems like the Steelers have fell apart. And so now that the Steelers have not looked good the last four games, people are wondering, if Mike Tomlin should be on the hot seat. And so you have a few things to consider, like Mike Tomlin, as far as like being a leader, like is his voice, like, is he stale now? You know what I mean? Like, has his voice been stale because it don't seem like he's reaching the players, especially like the young players. You have the young guy. What's the young wide receiver for the Steelers name? I'm gonna look him up real quick. George Pickens, right? So George Pickens, some of the stuff that George Pickens is doing, I don't think is really productive for the team. And so, like, if the Steelers are winning and George Pickens are doing those kind of things, then I guess Mike Tomlin sometimes will, he'll let that slide. But George Pickens, he's making mistakes that's actually costing the Steelers games, So, and that don't make Mike Tomlin look good from a leadership standpoint. I remember when he was having trouble with the other wide receiver back in 2016, a few years ago. What was that kid's name? I forgot the wide receiver name that he was having issues with. And then, and they had to get rid of that wide receiver. And so, and on top of that, Mike Tomlin's playoff record, right, it's not a winning playoff record. I think his playoff record is like 8-10, less than 500%, less than 50%, less than a 500 record. So, and I know that, like the Pittsburgh Steelers traditionally has not been the type of organization that would fire coaches. I think they had Chuck Knowles. Then they had the one that was right before Tomlin. So this is like their third head coach. And I forgot the guy's name, but he did the Sunday sports talk shows. But so I don't know if the Steelers should like trade Tomlin, or if they should really because I don't think things at Pittsburgh, I don't think things are really going to get better for him. Now I know that people say that, like, if Pittsburgh do part ways with him, say for instance, if he was traded, if Mike Tomlin was traded, then there's a demand for Mike Tomlin around the league. Like, a lot of teams would be interested in Mike Tomlin, and so Pittsburgh may be able to keep their record of not actually firing a head coach and going ahead and trading Mike Tomlin to, but if you trade him, like, who would you bring in? What other coach would you bring in? Who has somebody that you're interested in? That's one thing you would have to be considered. But in my opinion, I think that Mike Tomlin's time in Pittsburgh is really, I think it's run its course. I think once Ben Roethlisberger left, the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't been the same. That, like I said, they made the playoffs a few times, here and there, but you know, I don't think that Mike Tomlin is the guy really now who can really get them over the hump and get them to that next, get them to that next level. So, and I think, so I think Mike Tomlin is on the high seat, especially if they lose, if the Pittsburgh Steelers lose to the Ravens uh this week. I definitely think, I think people are really going to be trying to get they're really going to be calling for Mike Tomlin to get out of there. So, but the thing is, who do you replace Mike Tomlin with? That's the thing. You know, I'm not sure. I think that and then you got to consider, like, if you hold on to him, are things going to get better if you hold on to him? Like, do you think that he'll be able to right that ship? Do you think that he'll be able to turn things around for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I think it is what it is at this point. Um, I think Pittsburgh will probably cut their losses as far as, with Mike Tomlin. The best thing they probably could do in order to to be able to keep their not firing coaches, that streak alive. I think they'll have to really probably just trade him. But once Ben, like I said, once Big Ben left, it's it was, I think it was all downhill after that. All downhill. What's the wide receiver now? I keep forgetting this guy name. It's Antonio. I forgot the guy name, but he played with Big Ben too, and he had some issues with Big Ben. But I think that yeah, Pittsburgh defense. How is their defense? Their defense is solid. I like their defense, but their offense is just terrible. So yeah, it's, I think it's winding down for Mike Tomlin, and he is on the hot seat, in my opinion, especially if they lose to the Ravens this Saturday coming up. But like I was saying, just make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out on the next video.